Well, good afternoon. Sandra Tricoli from Savvy Creations. How are you, Sandra?
Good afternoon, Paul. I'm very well for a Monday. Thank you.
For a Monday, you're just
For a
telling me
Monday.
that that's your busy day of the week where
It
things.
is a very busy day. Very busy.
Yeah. So do you
I
want to?
think it sets the scene for the whole week. I think Mondays you kind of get everything ready for the week ahead. So yeah, a lot happens on a Monday in our office.
Yeah, okay. Those things happen for us on a Friday, so we get fun
Ah,
organised. Then the week flows on a Monday,
there
and
you go. There you go.
generally uneventful. So we're hoping it stays that way.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Sandra, tell us about your business and how you got started.
Sure. So rewinding 6 years ago, so I started Savvy Creations PR 6 years ago. I studied public relations and journalism at university, and I finished my degree and I worked, and I started to see that there was a real change in how PR in particular was done, that, clients and people were no longer wanting to just rely on third party platforms such as the media to write about them, but it actually gave people the opportunity to be able to be, to a degree, their own publicist, where they can manage and control what goes out into the world. And that's where social media started to really show up. So I kind of saw a bit of this need and a niche, I guess, where social media was really starting to become really popular, but people were still a bit unsure about what social media is and what do you use it for? Is it just to scroll and, see news and celebrities and whatnot? So 6 years ago, I actually got made redundant. So I had a bit of a crossroads in my life, and I always knew in my gut I wanted to have my own business, but it's scary. Starting your own business is a scary thing. You need to have a bit of a cushion around you if you want to start your own business. So I took the leap. I literally took the leap, and I said to myself, I'm going to give myself 6 to 12 months and see how I go. If it works, it's like jumping out of a plane and going, I hope I have a parachute. I hope it works,
A
It's
perfectly good
literally,
plane too.
honestly, it was literally like that. I thought I'm gonna, my motto in life is you regret more what you don't do than what you do. And I thought if I don't give this a shot now, then I know it will always be lingering at the back of my mind. What if? So I did it, and this is 6 years ago. So I rolled my sleeves up. I did everything I can, and I still work today like it's my first day. But you obviously build that momentum after a few years that you don't, necessarily have to be sweating at night thinking, oh gosh, am I going to have work this week? Because you've built that momentum. But that's really how it started. So it was a desire to help people. It was a desire to make my own decisions, and it was a desire to build my life by my own design without waiting to find out if I have a job tomorrow or not. Because I realized that, working for someone didn't actually give me the stability I thought I had. People go, working for someone, it's stable. No, it's not. I actually feel a lot more stable now working for myself because I know I can forecast my weeks, my months, whereas then you don't. You don't know what's happening in the back end of their financial planning and whatnot, and if they even have the budget to keep you on board. So yeah, that's how it all started.
Exactly right. And as you say, it's about the security of having your own business, where a lot of
Yeah,
people look at it the other way and go, oh, security of a full-time job. No, it's security of having your own
it's
business.
actually not. I
Yeah,
learnt that. And I thought there is no security here. And the reason I called my business Savvy Creations is because I wanted to create my opportunities. I wanted to create my security. And, a lot of the time we get told, oh, you've got to go do this, or you've got to go, when I started, people said, oh, Sandra, if you want to succeed, you've got to go to Melbourne or Sydney or London and New York. And I said, no, I don't. I'll create my own opportunities here. And that's how the name Savvy Creations was born.
nice
Um,
work.
yeah, so yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Isn't it interesting how when one door closes, another one opens? You think it's a hard luck story at the time. You lose your job, you get
100%.
whatever it is, but all of a
100%.
sudden, it's sent you on a different pathway and a different journey in life, which I bet you're enjoying much
Yes.
more.
And you have to learn to trust the process. And I think that's something that I tell all business owners. And, what might seem like such a devastating thing, because I remember at the time I was absolutely devastated. Even though it was a redundancy, you still can't help but take it personally. So for me, I was just, oh, and I thought I'd reached the top. And I remember just being, I can't, like, what do I do now? I didn't even have the energy to think about a business straight away. I needed a bit of time to kind of get my, I guess, my confidence back. But you've got to trust the process. You know, I'm a big believer in faith, and I always think God has a bigger plan for me than I have for myself at times. And you've got to just trust that process. You've got to go with the flow. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. So I haven't looked back since.
Haven't looked back. That's
No.
now in those 6 years while you've been in your own business.
Yeah.
What have been some of the darker moments or the tougher moments for you?
Obviously, I think COVID is a big one for a lot of people. There was a lot of uncertainty around COVID. A lot of my clients paused, some of them stopped because they were being quite affected as well. With COVID and their businesses. Obviously, you know, we help out a lot of our clients with their social media marketing. We manage their social media. And unfortunately, a lot of the times when people's budgets get tight, one of the first things that they cut out is marketing. So I was kind of expecting it. I wasn't expecting as hard of a hit as it was, but I also trusted my knowledge and I trusted my skills. And I knew that when people were ready, they'll come back. And after they did come back, it picked up busier than I've ever been in my life. So but that was really scary for a while because you think, oh my goodness, I've spent all these years building this up and all of a sudden it's just stopped. But I learned a big lesson from that. And the lesson is that if you are genuinely very good at what you do and you're passionate about what you do and you know you do the right thing, business will always come. So yeah, I trust myself now. You know, even if there's a quiet month, it's okay. I don't get too scared because I know it's coming. You know, I know things pick up and I kind of know now what months are busy, what months are not. I know how to predict that and I get ready. So I know how to forecast. So I think that only comes with experience and knowing your industry well. So I know December and January is almost a write-off in my industry, you know, unless we've got the retainer clients. So to me, I don't get scared. I don't go, oh my gosh, why am I not busy in January? Because it's January. People are, you know, going to the beach. And kids' school holidays and things like that. So understanding your industry and understanding how to predict things helps with that. But you have days when clients might leave or, you know, something like that where you go, oh gosh, you know, I hope I'm doing a good job and you question yourself. But once again, nature of business, clients will come, clients will leave, and that's okay. It all comes down to expectations. So I've learned to understand and have more realistic expectations when it comes to business. But yeah, I would say out of the 6 years, the hardest for me was probably two of the hardest was after I had a child, I went to work straight away after a few weeks because, you know, when you have your own business, you don't stop.
Yep.
So I had a baby and then 3 weeks later I was back in meetings. So that was really hard for me. Yeah, that was really, yeah. So that was really tough. That was and now that I look back, I'm like, I don't know how I did that, but I did. That was really tough. And then COVID, which was about a year and a half after. And so it was like two big things that were like, whoa. But, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, you know, and it built me up. It gave me a lot of resilience.
I'm sure it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Who's an ideal customer for you? Like who's in your target?
Probably medium-sized businesses, I would say. Medium-sized businesses who don't particularly want someone full-time as a marketing executive or a PR or social media, but have the funding to be able to outsource it. Large companies do usually have a marketing person in-house. We have clients that are quite large now, with hundreds of staff, and we work with their marketing team because they might not have all the capabilities that we have. But I would say a medium-sized business would be ideal, and predominantly professional services. I mean, we also work a lot with construction and building. That's probably one of my favorite industries, construction and building.
Yep.
But it's really anyone that needs to outsource their social media and their marketing and, you know, and needs help with building their online PR and their online brand. That's really who it is. So small businesses I love working with, but I find that they generally don't have a budget to engage savvy, whereas the medium-sized businesses usually have a budget where they don't need a full like in-house marketing person, but would like someone with that expertise on, I guess, a part-time basis, which is where they come to us.
That's where you fit in nicely.
Yeah, that's where we fit in.
Awesome. Who's inspiring or what is inspiring you at the moment?
This is going to sound a bit narcissistic, but myself. I always try and push myself to be better than who I was, and it's a bit cliche, but I'm constantly I push to be better than I was yesterday, last year. I'm always reading. I'm always listening to, motivational speakers. I go to like seminars where I can. I'm extremely hungry for knowledge. So for me, I inspire myself in the sense that I always want to be better. You obviously have your kind of famous, like I love Tony Robbins, for example. He inspires me. But and Robin Sharma, like I love Robin Sharma. He, I listen to him as well. So there's kind of those people, but for me, I inspire myself because I see how far I've come and I know how far I'm going. So that to me, I'm proud of myself. And I think as a business owner, it's so easy to forget to be proud of ourselves, that we need to constantly remind ourselves and give ourselves a pat on the back, because it's hard. It is so hard having your own business. And I think, online in particular, it looks, when people succeed, it's like an overnight success. It's not, nothing is an overnight success. So I think business owners need to start giving themselves a pat on the back more for all the hard work that they've done, and start to realize the obstacles that we need to overcome in order to get to where you've gotten. So yeah, that's probably myself and other business
And look,
owners.
that is awesome, because I was saying the same thing to some clients last week. It's about being the better version of you and competing against yourself. You're not competing against someone else.
I'm really not. I honestly, I really, people go, who's your competitors? I actually don't know. And it doesn't really bother me who my competitors are. My competitor is who I was yesterday. And I think, if I spend every minute of negativity is a minute taken away from productivity. That's how I look at it. So if I'm going to start scrolling and looking who my competitor, I don't care. I don't even look at it as a competitor. Sometimes it's a collaborator, but for me, a minute of negativity is a minute away from productivity. And I would rather spend that minute being productive, doing something.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And what's your biggest learning in business? It's a tough question.
Well, it all works out. It all works out. I think my biggest learning is that it's okay. Like, sometimes we think it's the end or of the world, or, oh my God, but then when I step back, and I think what's really important in business is understanding your priorities. So for me, my priority is health, family, business. And I think, if something is affecting your health and it's affecting your family, then it's not worth it. I'm not saying you'll never have a hard day or that, but I think if you know what your priorities are when you go into business, you'll be able to make faster decisions and the right decisions. So for me, knowing that everything always works itself out, even though you might be in the midst of something that might seem like, this is so hard, this is so overwhelming. When you step out of that situation, you realize, what, it's going to be okay. And it always is. So things always work themselves out, always. You've just got to be patient, and there's usually a lesson in every hardship, in every moment that might seem like, oh, why is this happening, or this is hard, or this is difficult. It's actually strengthening you. It's like a muscle, and the best thing you can do is to try and understand, what am I meant to learn from this process, because it's happening because it's trying to better me. It's trying to make me stronger, more resilient, more smarter, a better employer, a better everything. So I think those little lessons are sent to us to actually strengthen us. And when you have that kind of mindset, it doesn't really affect you as much as it usually would.
Yeah, exactly right. It just bounces off.
That's it.
And you're exactly right. Healthy body, healthy mind. There's a lot.
100%. 100%. You can't be the best you if you're not healthy, if you're not, like I mean, for me, I heard this once before and I absolutely loved it. It was like saying exercise is for the mind and food is for the body. So like I exercise, at least 5 or 6 times a week, because I know I'm much more of a proactive, productive, energized person when I do that, and it's hard. I've got a 4-year-old, I work full time, I run a business, and I still get up at 6 a.m. and I go for that run as much as I feel like pressing the buzzer 400 times.
On that alarm. Yes, thanks for coming.
Honestly, the amount of times I'm like, oh, I just want to snooze today. But I'm like, no, I need to do this because I owe it to myself and I owe it to my clients to be my best version.
And that's some pretty good advice for any other business owner, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you've got to feel good. You've got to feel good. And I'm not saying you'll feel great every single day, but you've got to I feel like it's my duty to myself, my family, and my staff and my clients to give them the best of me. I feel like I'm cheating them if I'm not giving them the best of me. I have a very fast-paced job and I have to be present and I have to be there. So I feel like it's not fair if they're not getting the best of me. So it's my, for me to do this for many, many years, I need to look after myself. So yeah.
Absolutely right. Well, thank you so much for your time. There's some great words of wisdom there for other business owners who are listening into this, and particularly the health aspects, and it'll work out.
Yes. It will always work out. Remember that.
Absolutely. Sandra, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. Thanks, Paul.